What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledPeople. This story's called Karen is furious at me because she rear-ended my stationary car. So today I was stopped at a red light, totally stationary, not moving a bit, not even pumping my brakes to inch up, nothing to imply movement. Then enters Karen. Karen slams the back of my car, doing about 50. The initial shock wears off, but I'm still well into a panic attack because I do not like cars because of past experiences, and I find my phone and call 911. I step out of my car and go around the back to see what I'm working with. Then Karen gets out of her car. I'm expecting her to say she's sorry, ask if I'm alright, or even just, "Oh my god," or "Oh crap." Nope, she greets me with, "You didn't call the police already, did you?" I tell her that's who I'm on the phone with. She says, "No, don't do that." I'm just like, yeah, okay, and go back to speaking to the dispatcher. They'd asked me the severity of the accident. I begin explaining to them what I'm seeing, which is basically big jumbles of plastics and hunks and chunks, but I honestly don't know what's from where, and that the entire logo from her car is sitting on the ledge thingy in my bumper. Karen apparently was upset that I was not upset about how badly she screwed herself. She starts screaming at me. "Look at my car! My car is worse! Look at how bad my car is!" I simply tell her, "Ma'am, you hit me!" She keeps on screaming, so I go sit back in my car. By the time the cops get there, my nose is bleeding, my chest hurts, and my head is pounding. They call out an ambulance because they think I'm severely injured, but in actuality, I just have chronic migraines and chronic nosebleeds, and having a panic attack will cause one. So the EMTs are checking me out, and I'm trying to explain that all the blood happened after the accident due to me panicking, and I'm fine, just sore and panicking. But they're concerned because my blood pressure is 178 over 167. As I'm speaking with the EMTs, I hear Karen complaining about how I don't need medical help, I'm fine, she didn't even hit me that hard, etc. And the cops trying to explain to her that they called an EMT because my nose was bleeding and they weren't sure if I had hit my head. She didn't say anything else, at least not that I could hear after that. Thankfully, my car is built like a brick, so it could probably be repaired with a plunger and a Sharpie. It literally got like 3 dents. Her whole front bumper is screwed. That hoe was gone. After I got home, I got the petty idea that I should have just taken her whole freaking bumper home. Just shoved that hoe in my trunk since she wanted to be a bimbo. I like this story, it's funny. Thank God it wasn't worse than it was, because 50-mile-an-hour collision is nothing to sneeze at. This story's called Pro-Trump Doesn't Equal Above the Law. Honestly, I do not want to turn this into a political debate. This lady could have very well played the other side of the coin. This isn't my story, it is my wife's, so it's secondhand. My wife works in an upper casual restaurant. Currently, we have just started a statewide ban of indoor dining. That being said, this current restaurant is still open for curbside pickup, and the front door is still unlocked for those who want to run in and grab their to-go orders at the counter. My wife noticed a woman and her young child settling down at one of the booths, so unable to take away seating like the tables, which had all their chains turned upside down, taking their coats off like they're about to get comfortable. My wife walks up and politely informs them, i.e. the mom, that indoor seating is banned right now due to that statewide law, but they're more than welcome to order from their website and have it brought to their car. "I voted for Trump!" My wife, a beat of silence before repeating the information about the ban, but she can still get her food to go. "This is stupid!" My wife allows another beat of silence before telling her a third time about no indoor seating and asking her to leave if she isn't going to order to go. The lady packs up herself and her kid and leaves in a huff. Like, seriously, how does that allow you to not follow the law? You know what kind of world we'd be living in if everyone thought and did as you do? I wish I had been there so I could tell her that she should write a letter to the governor and see where that gets her. Probably nowhere, because politicians suck, am I right, people? This story's called Karen Threatens to Scratch My Car Because I Stole Her Parking Spot. This happened about an hour ago. In the city where I live, it's really hard to find parking where you're allowed to park for longer than 3 hours. The only places you can park longer is in public parking garages, but you really need to be there before 8 a.m. because it fills up fairly quickly. I was a little late this morning, so the garage was kind of packed already. I prefer to park on the ground floor because I don't have to walk as long. I looked around for a while and actually found a single spot on the ground floor, but there was a car standing with the turn signal on just by the spot, like on the way to pull into the parking spot, but the person just stood there and was on the phone, not paying attention to me. I waited a few seconds because I don't want to be rude and snatch the spot in front of the person, but the lady in the car didn't notice me, so of course I took the spot. No reaction. Got out of the car, still no reaction. But just when I was about to leave, the lady in the car honked at me, which scared the crap out of me, and she rolled down her window. She didn't look like the typical Karen. She was in her late 30s and kind of good looking actually, until she started talking with her Karen voice. Here's the cast. Entitled lady. Me. Excuse me. I looked around confused, like I didn't understand if she was talking to me or someone else. Me? Who else, moron? You're the only one here stealing other people's parking spots. Excuse me? You know that these are public parking. There's no reserve parking spots. If it's occupied, then find another spot. But you saw that I was about to pull into that spot. No, you were on your phone for a solid 30 seconds and just stood there. But I was just answering a text and I had my blinker on. Just move your freaking car now. I need a spot on the ground floor. I have a hard time walking because I'm disabled. If you're disabled, then why aren't you parking in a handicap spot? The two by the entrance are free. But I don't have a permit for that. But that's beyond the point. Now move. If you don't have a permit, then you're probably not even disabled. That's none of your business. Why can't you just move the car? You're younger than me, so you would have an easier time walking from the second floor. I don't have time for this. I'll be late for work. I don't care. Leave then. By the way, I know which car's yours. Would be kind of unfortunate if something happened to it. Yes, she actually said that out loud. And now I know which idiot did it now that you told me. Then I proceeded to take out my phone and I walked closer and snapped a photo first of my car, where I was in the parking spot. Then I snapped a photo of Karen's car so you could see both the license plate and her face. This made her explode in rage and she got out of the car and started screaming at me that I assaulted her and that she was calling the police if I didn't delete the photo and move my car. Then I started running out of the parking garage and Karen actually ran after me. My office is really close to the park garage. It's like 200 meters. So I ran for the door and quickly got out my key and opened the door, and I just about closed the door in her face. I waved goodbye and smiled and headed up to the office. That was some good morning exercise, I would say. This should be a sport. Instead of running from bulls, we could run from Karens. I hope that she does not scratch my car, but if she does, I have evidence that she actually was there at the time, and there's probably cameras in the parking garage too. Update. The lady apparently tried to get into the office after I closed the door in her face. The door is always locked and we have a phone by the door that goes to the reception, but the receptionist will of course only let you in if you have an appointment with someone at the company, and you have to provide a name and time of the appointment, otherwise you won't be let in. The receptionist told me at our coffee break that some crazy lady called on the door phone and demanded to be let in. The receptionist told her the same as everyone. What's your name? With who do you have an appointment and which time? Karen came up with some broccoli salad excuse that she wanted to talk to her son. She came up with a name for her son even. But the receptionist simply answered, "No one by that name works here. Are you sure you have the right address?" She tried another excuse about that she saw a murderer enter the building. The receptionist said that she hasn't seen any suspicious people enter the office and that she should call the police instead. I told her about the incident in the garage this morning and that it was probably the same lady, and we had a good laugh about it. There's one thing I still wonder about. There's 4 different companies in this building, so you have to pick which one when you make a call on the door phone, and the company I work at is at the bottom of the list. She can't know which company I work for, so I wonder if she called all the companies and hoped to find the correct correct one. Update 2. My car's fine. I couldn't see any noticeable damages on it, so I guess she gave up on it. There was some people that pointed out that it was kind of a butthole move to snatch her parking spot right in front of her, and yeah, I see what you mean. It really was unnecessary. I could have just looked for another spot on the next floor, but I guess I was just tired and just wanted to park my car and get to my job on time. And also, it was really unnecessary to mention her weight. I know that this was my first encounter with a Karen like this, so I went a little too far into trying to make it entertaining, but yeah, it doesn't add anything to the story. It's just making me sound like a butthole. But I actually got some karma for calling her fat when all of this went down. I forgot to activate the parking app, so I got a fine of $250. Wow. Yeah, honestly, you really shouldn't have taken her spot. And yeah, I would have gotten pissed off if I was her too. Because I guess parking is more involved than just standing in one spot, so she was probably just answering a text message like she said, or just doing something on her phone real quick. But, yeah, she did overreact, but what are you gonna expect? You stole someone's parking spot. On the last parking spot on the first floor. I'd get pissed too. This story's called Woman Lets Her Dog Bite Mine and Says That My Dog Is Crazy. This is my first time making a story post, so please excuse the bad everything. So here's the cast. Entitled woman, me. Entitled man. So around my birthday in July, my aunt decided to take my sister and I to stay at a cabin with some other family. Dad, mom, grandpa, other aunt, uncle, and my dog. And we had a great time. That is, until the last day there. I was waiting for this day because it was the day we got to go to the lake. I have an overwhelming obsession with water that it's almost scary. And the lake had a dog section. I could take Kira, my pit lab. So we pack up all the toys, towels, and such, and we get in the car. We listen to 80s until we get there. I immediately jump out of the car, Kira's leash in hand, and start helping to unpack. We walk down the dirt path past a swing set with children on it. They wave at Kira and ask if they could pet her. I say yes, but to be careful because she likes to give kisses. They pet her and we go to find the dog section. We had a bit of trouble, but we eventually found it. We unpack and notice Entitled Woman is staring at Kira with a grossed out look. I'm confused, but ignore it. I take off Kira's collar and bandana so that all she has on is her harness. I walk over to the water and we meet a small schnauzer. They get along and we get in the water. We walk down the beach a bit and turn back to the table. When we get back, Entitled Woman is taking her toy poodle off its leash. So I walk over to a wooden fence post and tie her leash up, grab her food and water, and sit down with her in the water myself to look for rocks and shells. When I got back, I saw the toy poodle walking around our table, so I went over to tell Entitled Woman that she needed to keep her dog over with her so her dog would stop trying to get into our cooler. Well, I don't see what the big deal is. It's not like she's hurting anybody. Just don't touch her or you are going to be in big trouble. I asked her again if she would get her dog because it's trying to get into our cooler, and I restated that she said to not touch her dog, so that means she or someone would have to get it. She's fine. Look, even your gross pitbull likes her. I'm pissed at this point as she shoves her dog into Kira's face. Her dog snaps out and bites the top of Kira's head, causing her to yelp loudly and try to run away, but being stuck to the fence made her panic a bit. I kneeled down to try and calm her down, and that's when I saw the blood on the top of her head forming a large red spot in her fur. I start to panic, not knowing what to do, and I take her off the fence and start to leave, tears in my eyes, when her dog comes up to Kira again and tries to bite her. Entitled Woman runs up and grabs Kira by the scruff and holds her while Entitled Man gets their dog. Entitled Woman drops Kira onto the ground and ended up hurting Kira's paw. I grab her in my arms and start running back to the car. I can hear my family shouting at the couple. It all gets a bit hazy from there and it's hard to remember, but all I remember while I was running was watching the Entitled Woman screaming that I needed to put Kira down or just throw her in a shelter to rot like dirty pits all should. I'm just glad my baby girl is okay. She's still a bit scared around smaller dogs though. That's a horrible thing to happen. What goes through someone's head to make them think that that's okay to do? That's ridiculous. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.